सत श्री अकाल नमस्कार पंजाब स्टार टीवी ते तुहानू सब नू जी आयां नू। मैं हां अर्शदीप सिंह। कैनेडा बुलेटिन की शुरुआत करते हैं हैडलाइनस दे नाल। ब्रैम्पटन साउथ तो MP सोनिया सिद्धू वालों स्टैंडिंग कमेटी ऑफ हैल्थ की मीटिंग विच सीनियर्स का मुद्दा गया चुकिया। टेक केयर नू लैके पूछे सवाल। ओंटारियो के प्रीमियर डग फोर्ड का वड्डा ऐलान, टैसटिंग कैपेसिटी जाएगी वधाई अते रीओपनिंग के लिए रीजनल पहुंच अपनाएगी सरकार। अमेरिका विच रेसिज्म की घटना सामने आने तो बाद प्रधानमंत्री जस्टिन ट्रूडो का बयान, कहा कैनेडा ते अमेरिका दे विच एशियन अते काले मूल के लोगों के नाल वापरदियां ने रेसिज्म दीयां घटनावां। हुण जानदे खबरां विस्तार दे नाल। ब्रैम्पटन साउथ तो MP सोनिया सिद्धू वालों स्टैंडिंग कमेटी ऑफ हैल्थ की मीटिंग दौरान पील रीजन की प्रमुख प्रशासकी अधिकारी नैल्सी पोल्सनेली नाल लॉन्ग टर्म केयर्स बारे आई कैनेडियन आर्मी की रिपोर्ट बारे गलबात की गई। इस मौके सिद्धू अते पोल्सनेली ने कहा कि बजुर्गों वास्ते बेहतर काम करने लई सब नूं मिल के अगे आउणा चाहीदा।
I have worked in the healthcare field for 18 years and I know how important it is to administer compassionate care. We need to do a better job of caring for the people who built this country, who need our help during the crisis. So my first question is for the CEO of the region of Peel, Nancy Pulsnelli. Nancy, thank you for all the work you are doing. Canadian Armed Forces report identify numerous issues in long-term care. As an operator of 5 long-term care homes, what do you think are the underlying causes of these issues? And what has the region been doing to address the needs of seniors living in region administrated homes? Do you think there's a difference in the quality of care in region administrated homes from private care homes in the Peel region?
Thank you for the question, and through the chair, I'm going to separate the question in two and speak first to what I think are the underlying causes of these issues, and then I will certainly provide some comment to your question about the private homes with respects to municipal homes. The first question is a very important one because, if anything, COVID-19 has exposed various issues in long-term care. So when we look at the issues, certainly we will hear things like staffing ratios, funding, and increased complexity of resident needs that are part of an ongoing discussion about change in long-term care. These are very important and they're absolutely necessary. However, I want to dive a little deeper because there are also cultural issues that are at the core of how we approach long-term care. And these I'd like to highlight a little more for the committee. For a variety of reasons, long-term care has become inherently task-based. We rush, our staff rush to bathing, to feeding, to documenting. It's one resident after another on a very strict schedule with very little time for anything further. The issue is that when we approach long-term care like a set of tasks, a checklist, if you will, we make the person who's living in that home, we make their needs secondary to completing the task. And in many cases, it becomes fear-based care by the staff member and not the emotional-based care that these seniors deserve.
ओंटारियो वालों अर्थचारा लगातार खोलिया जा रहा है। प्रोविंस वालों हुण दूजे पड़ाव तहत अर्थचारा खोलण का मुद्दा टेबल ते लिआंदा गया है। इसलिए वड्डा फैसला लैंदिया प्रीमियर डग फोर्ड ने सही दिशा वाल वड्डा कदम पुट्टिया है, जिन्हां दस्सिया कि दूजे पड़ाव तहत अर्थचारा खोलण लई रीजनल अप्रोच अपनाई जाएगी, जिस तहत साफ है कि पील, यॉर्क अते टोरंटो रीजन दे विच सब तो आखिर ते दूजे पड़ाव तहत अर्थचारा खोलण दे हुक्म जारी हो सकते हैं, क्योंकि इन्हां खेतरां दे विच COVID-19 के केस लगातार सामने आ रहे हैं।
And I am now comfortable with asking our officials to look at a regional approach for a staged reopening. This will be one option we consider as we move into stage 2. This is one option that we're putting on the table. And we're only able to do this now because we're getting our testing to where we need it. So the health officials are looking right now at what regional model could look like. And that work is underway as we speak. I know other jurisdictions have used this regional approach. I want to look at how this has gone in other areas, what lessons we can learn. And it's our job to use the best information we have to use the advice of the command table to chart the best path forward. But let me be very clear. I'm not prepared to take unnecessary risks when it comes to our health and safety. We will continue to take a measured, gradual approach to reopening based on the advice of our command table. My friends, we are making progress. We're taking the steps necessary, and we will get through this. We will rebuild what we've lost. We will bring Ontario back with vengeance. We will be the economic engine that gets Canada moving again, and we will do it together.
ਮਿਸੀਸਾਗਾ ਦੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਬੌਨੀ ਕਰੋਂਬੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਐਲਾਨੀ ਗਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਰਣਨੀਤੀ ਅਤੇ ਅਰਥਚਾਰਾ ਖੋਲ੍ਹਣ ਲਈ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਅਪਰੋਚ ਅਪਣਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਫੈਸਲੇ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੰਮੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਇਹੀ ਮੰਗ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸਨ। ਕਰੋਂਬੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪੀਲ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਦਾ ਹੌਟਸਪੌਟ ਬਣਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ। ਅਰਥਚਾਰਾ ਖੋਲ੍ਹਣ ਸਮੇਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੁਚੇਤ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਪਵੇਗਾ। ਮੇਅਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਿਟੀ ਵਾਸੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਵਧਾਨੀਆਂ ਵਰਤਣ ਦੀ अपील भी की गई और टैस्ट करवाउण संबंधी भी हदायतां ते अपील की गई।
Today, the province unveiled their new expanded testing strategy. I agree with the Premier. We can't manage what we can't measure. Especially with the further reopening of the economy, it will be critical that we have a strategy in place to test workplaces, frontline workers, first responders, and the general public. This new strategy expands the criteria around who can get tested to include people who are asymptomatic, who are concerned about their exposure. It will also better capture the situation in regions across the province, and it is my hope that it will lead to a more tailored regional approach. On that note, I want to thank the Premier for committing to exploring a regional approach to reopening as they begin to plan for Stage 2. This is something that I have been advocating for some time. Stage 2 will see more workplaces reopen and larger gatherings that will pose a risk for a second wave. While I wish it wasn't the case, the region of Peel, similar to Toronto, York, and Windsor, remain hotspots that have been hardest hit by the virus. I ask that residents please remain vigilant and continue to protect themselves by constantly washing your hands and wearing a face mask in places where physical distancing is difficult. Only get a test if you are displaying symptoms or are worried that you have been exposed or are a frontline worker, first responder, or are returning to work. Our testing centers are already running at almost capacity, and we don't want to overwhelm them any further. Remember, a test is only a snapshot in time. It is time limited. It doesn't protect you. It is not a vaccine. So please don't get tested just because you want to.
ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਡਗ ਫੋਰਡ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਦੂਜੇ ਪੜਾਅ ਤਹਿਤ ਅਰਥਚਾਰਾ ਖੋਲ੍ਹਣ ਦੀ ਰਣਨੀਤੀ ਟੇਬਲ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਲਈ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਰਣਨੀਤੀ ਦਾ ਵਿਸਤਾਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਕਰ ਹੌਟ ਸਪੌਟਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਲਈ ਉਤਸ਼ਾਹਿਤ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੇਅਰ ਵਰਕਰਜ਼ ਸਮੇਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟੈਸਟ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਅਦਾਰਿਆਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਟੈਸਟ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ। ਮੋਬਾਈਲ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਟੀਮਸ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਤੈਨਾਤ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਜਾਣਗੀਆਂ। ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਨੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਪੀਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਟੈਸਟ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਟੈਸਟ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਵਾਓ। ਫੋਰਡ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਟੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਵਧਾਈ ਗਈ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਲਈ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਕੇਸਾਂ ਦੀ ਗਿਣਤੀ ਵੀ ਵਧ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ।
Today we released the next phase of our expanding testing strategy. We're working around the clock to get more people tested across the province. We're going into all sorts of hotspots. We're encouraging people to get tested. And we're also proactively looking for cases. We've started proactive testing of hospital staff, long-term care residents and staff, correctional workers and inmates, and essential workers. We're also proactively testing vulnerable populations and the staff who care for them in group homes, shelters, emergency child care centers, and other congregate settings. We're getting mobile testing teams up and running. These mobile testing teams will be rapidly deployed to hotspots across Ontario to help deal with any outbreaks. And I'll repeat it again. If you have COVID-19 symptoms, if you're worried, you've been in contact with someone with COVID-19, if you or your family are worried about exposure, in short, If you feel you need a test, please go get a test. You will not be turned away. We have 129 assessment centers open to everyone across the province, ready to serve the people. And I've been pleased to see the testing numbers going up this week.
ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਦੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਜੌਨ ਟੋਰੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਕੁਝ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਜੀਓਗ੍ਰਾਫਿਕ ਡਾਟਾ ਜਾਰੀ ਹੋਣ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨ ਹਨ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਸਦਕਾ ਕੋਵਿਡ-19 ਵਿਰੁੱਧ ਲੜਨ ਲਈ ਤਾਲਮੇਲ ਅਤੇ ਯਤਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਦਦ ਮਿਲੇਗੀ। ਮੇਅਰ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਕਰਮਚਾਰੀ ਅਤੇ ਮੇਜਰ ਡਾਊਨਟਾਊਨ ਇੰਪਲਾਇਰਜ਼ ਅਤੇ ਪੋਸਟ ਸੈਕੰਡਰੀ ਇੰਸਟੀਚਿਊਟ ਸਤੰਬਰ ਤੱਕ ਘਰ ਤੋਂ ਕੰਮਕਾਜ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖ ਸਕਣਗੇ।
I know some communities were upset by the geographic data released by Public Health this week. We made that data public, all of us in government here at the city, so people would have these details and better understand the impact of this virus on our community. And we are using this information to help people by coordinating and focusing our efforts to fight COVID-19. Our posture should be to reach out and support, not to look down. And I think extending that support is something that Torontonians are doing. It is just something that we do. We do not want the sacrifices that all of you have made out there to be in vain. We do not want to have to go back to a more stringent lockdown. We want to do whatever we can to minimize any second or third waves of this virus. That's why today I am announcing that the City of Toronto and a number of the city's major downtown employers, besides ourselves, because we're a major employer as well as Toronto's post-secondary institutions, will continue to support a majority of employees, where possible, continuing to work from home until September at the earliest. Mr. Raffi and I have been engaging businesses and institutions and communities and city divisions and partners to learn how we can best recover from the impact this pandemic has had on all of us. Telecommuting, phasing in employees' return to work, and staggering start times where possible will help businesses to maintain physical distancing. It will help keep their workplaces healthy, and most importantly, it will reduce pressure on public transit as more businesses and institutions resume more normal operations.
ਪੁਲਿਸ ਗ੍ਰਿਫਤਾਰੀ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਜਾਰਜ ਫਲੋਇਡ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਸੀ, ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਜਾਰੀ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਭੜਕੇ ਹੋਏ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਗ ਵੀ ਲਗਾ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਸੀ। ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਜਸਟਿਨ ਟਰੂਡੋ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਅਤੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਲੇ ਮੂਲ ਦੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਰੇਸਿਜ਼ਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਅਪੀਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਸਲੀ ਭੇਦਭਾਵ ਅਤੇ ਰੇਸਿਜ਼ਮ ਦੇ ਵਿਰੁੱਧ ਖੜੇ ਹੋਈਏ।
I just want to make a quick point on what is happening in the United States. Many Canadians of diverse backgrounds are watching, like all Canadians are, the news out of the United States with shock and with horror. Anti-black racism is real. It's in the United States, but it's also in Canada. And we know people are facing systemic discrimination, unconscious bias, and anti-black racism every single day. We need, as a society, to stand together, stand up against discrimination, be there for each other in respect, but also understand that we have work to do as well in Canada, in our systems that we need to work forward on. And I call on all Canadians, whether it's anti-black racism or anti-Asian racism or racism and discrimination of any type, to stand together in solidarity, to be there for each other, and know just how deeply people are being affected by what we see on the news these past few days.
ਸੋ ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਬੁਲੇਟਿਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨਾ ਹੀ। ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੀਆਂ ਤਾਜ਼ਾ ਤਰੀਨ ਖਬਰਾਂ ਤੇ ਮਨੋਰੰਜਨ ਭਰਪੂਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬਣੇ ਰਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਟਾਰ ਟੀਵੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।